Hey folks, it's been a while since I did the last update on the bobber here, and the more recent updates. I've done a couple of things, nothing major, no major performance work or anything like that. Just a few creature comfort items. So we'll get into those. So I don't remember if I covered this one in the last one. This is just a fun item. This is the throttle body cover with the brass screws. That's just a look thing, with the Union Jack on there. So that's kind of cool. That's on both sides of the bike. That's the fairly minor one. I may have talked about that one before. I don't completely recall. The two major items that I did are both on the bars. I say major, they're actually not that major. They're just purchase items. My wife was kind enough to gift me the Triumph heated grips, and I've been wanting those for a while. I almost purchased them a while ago, and I didn't, and she wound up purchasing them for me because she's awesome like that. So I have those. I have installed them. I'm in the North Florida area, so one thinks of Florida and doesn't necessarily think it's being cool, but right now, this week, it's actually really windy and down into the 30s and 40s. So it's pretty chilly, and I have very much appreciated these. I tend to do a lot more winter riding than I do summer riding, so even on a day where it's in the 50s outside, these on the low setting are really awesome. These have a low and a high setting. One of the things I didn't know they did when I first got them, let me key on the bike here. One of the really cool things that it does is that you can push the button here and cycle through the settings. So if I come over to the screen, I'm pushing the button now. That's when you first push it, it tells you what state that it's currently in, and then if you push it again, it switches it between the modes. So you have, that's low. I'll push it again, it's in low. Push it again, now it's in high. Off, low, high. So it's really easy to turn it on and off. When you're riding, again, all I'm doing is toggling the button between those settings, which is really cool. So I absolutely love these. These things are awesome. They do really well. I was actually really concerned when I saw the size of the wires that was on here when connecting these, that they wouldn't have enough current to really heat up well. But they actually do a really nice job. So I'll talk a little bit on what I had to go through to install these, but it's fairly simple. Comes with a link for the instructions, and it was pretty simple process. I was really sick, and had just gotten kind of starting to get over that in the last few days that I installed these, and I was feeling really rough, and I still did it in like 30 minutes to an hour at most, so it was pretty easy. So you take off the bar ends and all that, you open up this case. There's going to be a connector inside of here, and then there's a hole in the end of the bars and a hole here already pre-wired on these bikes. So all you do, the wire's on this end of the throttle grip. Once you take off your old throttle, when you're going to put these back on, you take and run it through, or sorry, I say throttle, this is the other side. Once you take off your old grip, you run it through the hole, run it through over here, and then pull it up through the hole. What I did was run some fishing line through here first, tied the end of the connector onto the fishing line, and made it super easy to pull it out on this side and connect everything up and then just reassemble. This side was really easy to do. No issues there. Put it all back, it's fine. You may find that it's difficult to get your old grip off. If you don't intend on reusing the old grip, you can just take a blade and cut down the side of that, loosen it up, and makes it a lot easier to take off. You can cut right into it. If you're planning on reusing them, you're going to want some lube or something on there, and you're going to have to work it off, and that might take a little while. As far as the other side goes, it was a little more involved. So you have to take off the brake here, you have to take off that assembly, this whole thing opens, you have to take off the mount inside of here for the throttle sensor, and then of course once you've done that, and you take off the bar end mirror and all, once you've done that, this comes right off as a whole unit on the throttle, so nothing crazy there. And then you have to reassemble all of that. One of the things I found really handy when I was doing this is before I undid these clamps internally to loosen all that up to take it off, I marked exactly where it was so that I could put it back in exactly the same place without having to readjust anything afterwards, and that worked really well. So if you pay attention to like that, you just put a little mark in the bar and on there, it's fine. Other than that, no issues. It was a fairly simple install, and like I said, didn't really take all that long at all. The second purchase that I made, this one I got for myself. This is the BeeLine Moto. Hopefully I haven't run the battery down already. Here we go. I don't have the app running on my phone right now because I'm recording the video on my phone. But this thing is pretty awesome. I've gone out for a couple of rides on it already. I'll try to do a separate review video on this thing at some point, just to do a little more detail on it. But there's plenty of them out there, so there's plenty of content if you want to get it. Right now, I'm just using the strap kit with the rubber bands that came with it, and honestly, that seems to work really well. One of the concerns I had is that wouldn't be strong enough to hold it in place while riding, and it actually does a really good job. And you can still take it off when you're ready to go somewhere and fairly easily put it back on. So I'm pretty happy with that. That worked out really well, and I've been enjoying using that. My only complaint on that, and I should have paid more attention to this when I was shopping, and I probably still would have bought it anyway, the app, even though it seems to be based on like Google Maps, it does not have any audio cues. Now, to me, when I'm trying to go somewhere, I'm not staring down at my bars looking for the next turn. I know roughly what distance it's coming, so I get used to it and I can still work with it. But I prefer having some kind of at least chime or something in my ear, or something that would say, hey, you have like when you're running regular Google Maps on your phone, that says turn coming up and however many yards or whatever, and you could look down and see the arrow there. Because I run Sena Bluetooth in my helmet, and so I'm already, music or whatever going there. It's not really that distracting to me to have a little audio chime come up, and I really prefer not to take my eyes off the road if I don't have to. That being said, the reason I like having something visual to reference is that when I'm going along and I know, okay, in some amount of time, I'm going to have a turn coming up and I just want to see how far that is, that's when it's nice to be able to look down and see the visual reference. This thing does do something really awesome, though. It has a compass mode on it where it will give you the general sort of as the crow flies. I said that all wrong. As the crow flies direction. Anyway, it'll always point to your target. So you can find your own path there. All it does is say, it's that way, basically, and gives you the distance to it. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't try to do turn-by-turn directions or anything like that for you. It doesn't do route management. It just points to where it is. So for exploring, that's kind of cool. But anyway, those are my changes to the bike right now. Not a whole lot else going on. I'm not sure if it picks up well on the video, but you can see the tires and all are filthy, because I've been riding in some rainy, kind of cool weather lately. And so there's a lot of mud and whatnot on the tires. It needs to be cleaned up. I wiped it down the other day, but it still needs quite a bit of attention there. I'm looking forward to getting out and doing some more rides here soon. Today in particular, it seems to be rather miserable weather. It's really not that cold, but the wind chill factor right now is insane. The humidity is high, the temperature is low, and we have a lot of wind right now. And the combination of all of that makes it's just way, like I'm used to riding in temperature way lower than the temperature outside today. And I was freezing last time I went out. And I was out in the backyard a few minutes ago, and I couldn't stand to stay out there much longer. It was so chilly. So you people up north who deal with snow and stuff all the time, my hat's off to you. I'm a Florida boy, grew up here, and I'm not going to mess with all that stuff. Y'all can have your cold back. Anyway, peace out. Y'all take care.